Started out with half and I flipped it in a double.
Hey, what's going on everyone? Nick Corona here, and I got you guys right now on the Cena 10C. It's a Bluetooth system, so if you hear some noise, that's Ben up ahead in the Kawasaki, who I'm connected to. And it obviously has a 4K camera in it, and we're gonna just talk about my first 10 impressions of the Brozz. So we got a little list here, and the first thing is that the remote start can be a little wonky. It comes with this ridiculous feature, remote start, and it's cool, but like you can only start your bike in neutral. I don't know when you'd ever want to use it. And the thing that sucks about it is sometimes your bike gets stuck on. So like you go to turn the key off and your bike literally will not shut off. Even if you kill the engine, the electronics will still be on because it gets stuck in some weird auto start mode. It's really silly, and it's really weird the first time it happens. So I don't know, I might be removing that at some point. The second thing is, I really wish my fuel gauge worked, and I guess that's like the kind of thing you take a risk with. A Chinese bike, get really sick of looking in there all the time.
It's funny, this doesn't look any better during the day than it does at night.
Should we do it?
I'm good. You can if you want to. That's the wrong direction anyways, and it's just so intense looking and so sandy.
Yeah, it's very sandy. Let's go to that road and hit one of those other paths.
Yeah.
It's good to avoid sand when you're breaking your bike in because your RPMs just go really high when you're getting through it, and it's not super good for a new engine. And I'm at almost 600 miles, and the Kawasaki I think is like 500, so just kind of pushing it. So what just happened right now is number 3, which is the seat kind of hurts my nuts. It's got this little like swoop in it for your second passenger, and it makes you sit up on the tank far, which is good. But sometimes it hurts my nuts, and I'll squish them or something. So I don't know. It's something I noticed a little bit more on this bike, but it's also pretty common on all bikes. Number 4, and I've been getting used to it. This bike comes with really small foot pegs, and it felt really weird at first. And I was gonna get new ones right away, but since I've had these boots, I'm actually getting used to it, and I kind of like them. And also, there's these little black rubber inserts in them, which I still have in mine right now, and you can take those out and make them good old steel pegs. All right, number 5, plenty of power. If you're worried about the 15 horsepower.
Super sandy right there.
As you can tell.
Be careful.
I have no problem getting through any of this stuff. Just like the Kawasaki. The Kawasaki seems to have more power, but we're gonna make some upgrades. Well, should we go down this way and go into one of those other trails? Or you wanna head out?
Yeah, let's just head out. Let's head up and on this trail right here and just keep heading north.
Cool. You guys will see the power throughout the trip. So another thing about the power is the gauge redlines at 10K, and the bike seems to redline around 8. So I figure it's probably just a real generic cluster that they used. Next is another thing about the seat. Although it is a nut cruncher, it's super freaking soft. Like borderline memory foam, you can sit on it for hours and your butt won't hurt. If you have a passenger, this is probably one of the most comfortable bikes I've ever ridden on as far as just straight up seat foam. It's really thick. For some short people, I know it's pretty common to cut a few inches out of it, and it's still pretty comfortable apparently. Can't read this next one, so too bumpy. You're gonna have to power through this part, guys.
You didn't mesmerize them?
What do we got next?
Um,
Number 7. the idle out of the box. So yeah, the idle out of the box will constantly kill your bike. I was really excited to just see how this bike ran out of the box. He actually runs really good in Arizona. There's certain spots where it bogs down, and sorry guys if you hear me breathing heavy, it's because it's 108 degrees right now. It's super freaking hot, and it's just that I'm not scared. But the breathing could be a little heavy, so there's that. But anyways guys, the only thing I have adjusted at all on this bike is literally the idle. And I found out it's right here. You can actually turn it with your fingers if you need to. Because this bike worked great out of the box, but as soon as the engine warmed up, the idle got worse every time. Or not only did it get worse, but like the bike would die. So I had to turn it up. And I've been keeping it around just a little bit over 1,000 RPMs or right at it. And seems to be a pretty good spot where it just stays alive.
We're going to kind of have to scoot out right in front of, after this next white car coming from the right. Let's do it.
Ooh, it's toasty when you hold still. You just can't hold still. Alright guys, it takes us to number 8, which is electronic issues. Which I guess you could say include the gas gauge, but I've also had other electronic issues, starting with my bike just dying. Like, going to start it and it's completely dead, even while I'm riding it, after I'm riding it, the next day. And basically I went to get the brand new battery tested that, you know, they send you the kind where you have to pour the battery acid in. And it was bad. It had bad cells in it. So right off the bat I had a bad battery, which was one of the things I intended on replacing with a it's heat stroke. I was going to replace that with a name brand battery no matter what. And I'm going to do that with the chain and sprocket and a couple other pieces. And it's pretty common to get handlebar upgrades, and I don't know. We'll see where else that goes. But that wasn't the end of it. Then there's the electronic issue of the bike staying stuck on if you don't have your fob with you or you get in a weird situation. And then there's the electronic issue of my headlight stopped working. And it was like intermittent at first, and then it completely stopped working. And after, you know, really digging everything apart and looking into it, I ended up finding a spot on the actual plug of the bulb unit where it had gotten so hot that plastic melted down into it. And I haven't even really ridden the bike for an extreme amount of time that should have caused that. And enough plastic melted into it to make my headlight stop working. And once I went in and cut it all out with a knife, everything worked totally fine. So number 9. My 9th impression of the Bashan 250. I'm sorry, the Brozz 250. Bashan's the company that makes it overall, and then someone bought it and made it be a Brozz and branded it as that and sold it, and it's really Bashan. But my 9th impression is the top speed. It's about 70 miles an hour. And I want it to be faster. I didn't really expect it to be because it's pretty easy to look it up and find that information. I just didn't know what would be preventing it from going faster, and it's just a little bit of everything, you know. You can put a better high-end sprocket on it, which I definitely am going to do because you guys will notice my first gear is hilariously short. You know, I get like halfway across an intersection and pretty much always off-road in second gear. That'd be cool for some first gear action. Exhaust, things like that. I'm really hoping I can get this bike to, like, if its max speed could be 85 or a little over 80, then being in a 70 wouldn't be so scary. Because the bike itself is super freaking comfortable. Even at 70 it feels pretty solid, other than like the RPMs are high because of the gearing. Which brings me to the 10th and final impression of the bike, although there are obviously many more. This is just what I'm bringing to you guys. And it's just it's a lot of bang for your buck. I don't know if it's the best purchase for everybody, but it's a lot of bang for your buck. For $2,000, I am on the road on a dirt bike, riding with a Kawasaki. And, you know, there's undoubtedly a lot more small things and bullshit that I have to deal with. And so, I don't know. It's not for the faint-hearted. The faint of heart when it comes to, you know, I got a brand new thing and my gas gauge is broke. You can only be so upset because you're spending $2,000 on it. And I mean, look what I'm doing for $2,000. I don't know if they've ever made a bike this nice, this cheap. So overall, I absolutely 100% do not regret getting this bike. I 100% recommend it, and at the exact same time, I recommend the Kawasaki just as much because you totally get what you pay for. And, you know, there's a lot more longevity in that bike, who knows. It's got a unibody, and this bike has more of a frame. And, you know, his has got a brand new engine. This engine's a little bit more of like an old tried and proven one. Carburation versus fuel injection. So, man, it's hot out here.
Sweaty hands.
Forgot my Apple Watch.
That guy already started shopping, so he might beat us home. We gotta go like get that and come straight back.
What happens if he beats us home? They just leave it?
They just leave it at the door.
It
and
gets ruined.
There's some frozen shit in there.
Can't have that.
Mhm.
Yeah, after a while of going to the grocery store and wearing a mask and stuff, you realize it's way better to just spend $7 or $8 on delivery. How much is it?
It's like 10.
Worth.
And then you can give them a tip. So it was like $13 extra today.
Yeah.
It's just worth it.
Yeah, right now, just because of all the extra bull. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my first 10 impressions of the Brozz 250 after 600 miles. Let me know what you guys think of the bike, and feel free to hang out a little bit longer. You know, another big benefit of this bike is the simple fact that you just went dirt biking with me and now I'm on the road like a car. To me, that's the coolest freaking thing ever. And if we see a cool path or something, we just rip onto it. But yeah guys, until next time, peace. And like I said, feel free to stay and chill. Let me know if you guys like this video. Let me know if you want to see more like it. Let me know how that camera quality looks. This is about the 3rd time that I've used it. See, she's got just enough power. Last night on this straightaway, I got her to touch 71.
What? Say that one more time?
Last night on this straightaway, or last time we were on it, I got to 71.
Oh, nice.
Because we were coming downhill and the wind was probably behind us.
Good. That's good.
It's cool because once we figure out both our top speeds, we'll really know like what the improvements do.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my next video for you guys. My 10 building tips.
Whoa.
Just some of the silly shit we ran into, like like it's full of oil, but it's shipping oil. It's really shitty. I didn't think it was full of oil, and I opened it, and it went all over. But I read a bunch more, and apparently that's good, because a bunch of people said like that oil is only good for 100 miles. So why would you even want to run it all over? It's just like
I was trying to read up more about this bike, and there's just like not that much out about it yet because it's just so brand new.
Yeah.
Not very many have been sold, and this is probably one of the first. Not one of the first, but one of the first couple thousand that's gotten 600 miles on it, at least.
I mean, yeah, it's like a 2020 bike, and it's not probably their most sold model because they only have like 1 or 2 Enduros and mostly like dirt bikes and crotch rockets and shit, so there's probably not an insane amount sold. Yeah.
Right.
And then you got to think, out of those people, there's even less people like making videos about them specifically. Because like, yeah, that KLX is clearly a super badass bike.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, can't wait till we can open it up.
Yeah, man, that heat is crazy.
Oh yeah, the mountains just look so beautiful. Like, it feels like the first time every time.
I keep a 40 that I know. Got the Henny, you get cold. Smoke on Reggie, that's a no-no. Driving slow-mo in the photo. Bitches ready for them photos. There's a lot of things on my mind, yeah. Stacking money like 365. Cause this shit is real.